Yes, sir.
Pros and cons between red and white light.
I'm going to tell you,
That's worse than cover scent.
we have the world calling competition coming up, so we're going to run out of time on this. I can assure you. Again, I'm going to let these guys answer that. But
Can I answer that one first? Let me go
sir.
first before these white light guys get in here.
She said go down the line and say red, white, red, white.
There you go.
White.
I just listen to Jeff because he knows what he's talking about.
White.
White.
White, red.
White. With
White.
condition.
Just white.
That amazes me sitting on this panel hearing white that much.
You know, and I will say this, guy. I was explaining something to somebody earlier about this very subject, and I think this might be a quick, easy way to explain this. When we first started hunting years ago, there wasn't dimmer switches on lights. So there was a lot of guys using the white lights and having limited success. When they started putting the red lens on there, their success went up, so they equated that to that red color. So automatically they thought it was that red color. When actually, after several of us guys do a lot of night hunting, done a lot of it through the years, we've done a lot of experimenting, and with newer technology, we've got these dimmer switches. And if you come to that night deal tonight, we'll kind of demonstrate some of that. But I think that red lens, what it did, it cut down that harshness of that light to where the guy's success went up. A lot of guys deduced that it was the red color. I don't really believe that. I'm convinced it was the harshness of that light was cut down with that red lens to where their success went up. So us guys, most of these guys, it's not a fair example because most of these guys up here film. And obviously you can film probably better with a white light versus a red light. So we like white light. So since we've got the dimmers, since you can take that harshness down and use less light and then kind of use that dimmer switch or that rheostat to kind of turn that light up. A lot of times when you hit a coyote out there at 300 yards with a million candle power real quick, or say 500-600 yards, it really doesn't spook him that bad. You get that coyote at 100 yards and you hit him with 100 or million candle power, it's going to really spook him. So the difference is the harshness of that light. If he's out there 500 yards and you have a really dim light on him, he's not really spooky. As he's coming in, you can turn the harshness or the brightness of that light up, and his eyes have time to, they're dilated really big because it's dark. As you bring that light up, his pupils contract real slow, and it really doesn't spook him so bad. So that's the reason I say white with a condition. If you don't have a dimmer switch on there, you might do better with a red lens. I personally like the white.
I respect Byron South immensely, but I respect the scientists and the zoologists that use red light for nocturnal animals in zoos. Ever gone into one of those real dark houses and the only light in the cage is a red light and that little marsupial comes out or that bat or whatever, they're coming out in that red light because it doesn't affect them. It doesn't bother them. Maybe it's because it's not as bright as white light, but that's the way we started out in the 60s, early 60s. Dad and I started out with white light. And then they saw more and more research about nocturnal animals, and we went to red, flip lenses and all that stuff back in the 60s. And I do it both ways. I think white light tends to make the shadows dance better, more prominently. I think shadows scare animals a lot easier, and maybe a dimmer red light causes a less intense shadow to dance. So who's right?
I wouldn't disagree with that. Now, if you're hunting at night, the guy that's running that light is very important. If you're jerking that light around, you're going to spook a lot of animals. So it really matters.
It depends on the intensity. When I'm using red, I still don't go to a real bright light until we're ready for the kill. Because you can make an animal, they tend not to turn away from you as much on red. It could be blue, it could be green. A lot of guys are going to the green light now, finding out that works as good as red. I don't know enough about what they see in the color spectrum to tell you scientifically if that's true or not. I'm a big red light advocate, but I do it both ways. Under certain conditions, I think one is better than the other. Obviously, for these guys in videotaping, white light's the best way to go to get the best footage, the best film. And obviously, by looking at their videos, they get tons of coyotes and cats up to white light.
Ken, how many light people are here how many lights are being sold here today?
I'd have to say there's got to be 10 or 15 companies here.
Isn't that amazing how the light technology's come so far?
Absolutely. And every one of these companies pretty much have a lens cover or an LED.
We got a new light over here that was really cool I was looking at and stuff,
Yeah.
but I got to give a shout out to Light Force. They're our
Yep.
boys. We like
Absolutely.
Light Force.
And if you really want to see some cool demos tonight, I highly recommend this 5-minute walk across the river. You'll get to see Light Force in action. A lot of these guys use their products, they use their optics, and you'll get to see hands-on how and why these guys use these products. And you will see live animals staked out there. And not that it's going to affect a goat, but you will be able to see how they use these in unison to hunt their animals at night. We're running out of time. We have the World Predator Calling Competition in the Bosque Theater. Great questions. I appreciate everybody's participation. I appreciate your questions. I appreciate the panel. Thank y'all very much.